Hi, I'm Elsie. I'm 21 years old and I'm from Germany. At the moment, I'm working voluntarily in Lithuania, in Vilnius, the capital city. Basically, beforehand, I wanted to go to America, but I quickly gave up that dream because I thought at the end of it, it wasn't right for me. After that, I said, okay, I'll do some voluntary work in Europe, and I'll go to Southern Europe. It's warm there, summer year-round, wonderful. But in South Europe, there were no projects, so I said, oh, what should I do? Eastern Europe, I definitely didn't want, absolutely not. I'm from East Germany, right beside Poland, and after Poland, not for me. I didn't know where Lithuania lies, but I got an email saying, would you like to come? I looked at the project and thought, that sounds good. After I said yes, I saw where Lithuania is and thought, it's Eastern Europe. Let's try it out anyway. In the beginning, when I was there, I found friends in my volunteers group, and we spent a lot of time together, went sightseeing in the city together. That was okay. But then I found Lithuanian friends when I thought it's slowly time for me to learn the language here. I've been here for a month so far, but I work together with young people on the weekends. So I just asked them for their mobile number. The nice thing in Lithuania is that you can write text messages for free, without borders, when you stay in the same network. So that's very good for me. Part of them are students who study in Vilnius. Basically, they come from the villages, and life in the villages is very, very different to Vilnius, as you can think. There is not much English spoken here, and it's really traditional and very Lithuanian. I didn't ever have homesickness. I never had the feeling that I wanted to go home. I had more the feeling when I was at home to visit that I wanted to go back to Lithuania. My language knowledge I mostly have from school and from my friends, and little by little, even the kids from the school helped me improve my grammar. And I found that very nice. I mean, when disabled kids help me to improve, it feels a bit strange, but it helps. I've helped the kids doing handicrafts in the school, played with them and written with them, helped them in their lessons. Mostly it wasn't a kind of teaching you would imagine, because it's a special school and the lessons consist of a bit of writing and a bit of reading, a bit of calculation, as far as it was possible. I had no experiences, so I was thrown into cold water again. But I wanted to work with disabled children to stop my shyness of disabled people. Now and then I was in other classes to help out there. When the care worker was sick, so I came in the class where I thought at the beginning, oh my God, I couldn't ever work there. The kids are blind, some are deaf, and they sit in wheelchairs. What can you do with them? It's terrible. It's a catastrophe. Why are they alive? In the beginning, I couldn't work with them. After 3 months, it was okay, and after 10 months, it's fun. Basically, I just want to do this. Vilnius is a city like no other. From the beginning, building sites, new glass houses like Potsdamer Platz, and besides that, prefabricated buildings. And if you're really lucky, there are little wooden houses, beautiful like you've never seen. But the wooden houses are being slowly demolished because in 2009, Vilnius is going to be European Culture Capital City. And naturally, the landscape's changing quickly towards that. A lot of my free time I've used up preparing things for the school. But I also meet friends in groups at the weekends, often in Acropolis, because there's a lot to do there, like bars, free time possibilities and shopping. Super for us girls. And it was also very close to my second flat, 15 minutes walk, perfect. Also, we often went to drink beer It's the national drink of Lithuania, and they're very proud of their beer. And they say they have the best beer in the world. But we Germans say we have the best. But that's not a problem. It all tastes good. In end effect, I can say that I'm happy to have come to Lithuania and even to have seen what Eastern Europe is like, and also the three Baltic states and also the Ukraine. The people are full of heart. My name is Christine Seer. I'm 23 years old, and at the moment I'm in Macedonia working with disabled kids in a day centre. My first contact with the country was a bit complicated. I got to the airport in Skopje, the capital city, and had to get to Struga, my project site. The director wrongly interpreted the SMS he was sent and came exactly 1 hour later, and I had to wait at the airport for a bit. I contacted my organisation in Germany and asked them to find out what was going on, but then he turned up and everything was okay. He showed me Skopje, we went to drink a coffee, and as we got to the centre, the other volunteers had prepared a meal for me. Very tasty. I work with disabled kids and try to help them to be more self-reliant. Reading, writing, puzzles, coordination, cooking, helping them to the toilet, basically things to help them further on in life. The kids are really lovely. Every morning when you come in, you get a hug. Feedback, wonderful. With kids, you don't really have any trouble understanding them. It doesn't matter if they're from Macedonia, Albania or Germany. We mostly understand each other through body language. It's much less complicated. When I first came here, I couldn't speak a word of Macedonian or Albanian, but my colleagues helped me out a lot. One Macedonian lady and one Albanian lady slowly and surely helped me to understand Macedonian and not just the basics. I can also say what I want when needed to. In Albanian, I'm able to tell the kids, for example, to sit down and what they have to do, etc. I'm the only volunteer from Germany here, but I've got a colleague here who's Finnish. Until 3 weeks ago, I've been working here. I also work with a French lady. After work, I normally come here to the office for my posting organisation, and afterwards I meet volunteers from my group and also people from the office. We normally go for a coffee, to talk about the day and to relax. Right now I'm here at the Ohrid Lake, and behind me you can see Albania. The lake is split between Albania and Macedonia, and if you want to go topless on the beach, it's not forbidden, but not advisable, because there are a lot of Muslims who live here, and they feel personally offended. You have to consider the religion, because you have Muslims and Christians together, and you have a lot of questions, but the people are open to answer and explain their religion and way of life. The pocket money we get is adequate, and there's a bazaar in Struga, where normally us volunteers go on Saturdays to buy our shopping. The fruits and vegetables are fresh and cheap, and this kind of quality isn't in Germany, not in the best shops. We cook together on the weekends, which is good because it makes us feel more like a family. We're a big community, really. Behind me is the stone bridge from Skopje. Skopje is the capital city of Macedonia. Like I said, I regularly come here, meet friends, drink coffee, go shopping. After my course, I'm going back to Germany to carry on my career. I told my friends a lot about my experiences as a volunteer in Struga, and I think I may have found people for the next generation of volunteers for this project. Hi, I'm Steffi. I'm 21. I'm originally from Hamburg, and at the moment I'm working with the European Volunteers Service in Poland, better said Morava, for a year. After my A-levels, I really needed a change of scene, and I had a look around what possibilities there were, and I saw the European Volunteers Service. Looked interesting, so I applied there, and it worked out pretty well. I made contact with people who were already in this organisation. Then I wrote a couple of emails to find out what was important for them and for me. After that, I came here for 4 days to look around and to get to know them, and for them to get to know me. Because I come from Hamburg, and here are only 200 inhabitants, and I really had to look at the place before deciding to stay here for a year. The organisation contains a German-Polish community centre, where most of my work takes place, and also a kindergarten, which is financed by the community centre. And that's good for them because the kids can use the kindergarten for free. If you want to describe my job specification, I'm basically the maid of all work. That means looking after the guests, laying the tables, documentation of bilateral school meets, and a lot of other things to go with that. My company car I use for two things: picking up the guests from the station of Stronie and making sure also that there are enough beverages for the organisation and for the people, obviously. Something about my workplace is that is quite different to normal. I don't just work here, I also live here. That means I have my room in this house, and it makes up for a comfortable and family atmosphere. So quite difficult sometimes, because it means I'm pretty much always on call. I mostly learned the language in the kitchen, because there's no one who speaks German there. That means I have to speak Polish. So I started with simple vocabulary like the words for plate and fork. From then to now, my language knowledge has got much better, and right now I can communicate quite well. I was well received from the beginning. Every person was friendly, and every time I went to the town, there was always someone open-minded to talk to, especially Martha. She was always friendly, easy to talk to, and now she's become a good friend. Even when I meet in the next larger town of Stergum, I always meet people to talk to. Even sitting on a bench, I meet a diversity of people. And from the older men, I often get kissed on the hand, which is very usual for them here. Another discovery of Stergum is the Cross Hill, or the Kreuzberg. I'm often there because you can look over the town, and even to the faraway town Morava. The village where I am is very, very cut off, so that you often have to take a longer way if you want to sit in a cafe, for example. The cafe where I am now is half an hour away from the village, but has the best chocolate coffee in the world. And I also meet friends there. This chocolate coffee is very special to me, because I never thought that you could get something like this in Poland. It seems more like something oriental to me. A well-known excursion destination is the Church of Peace in Świdnica. I organise the excursions here, ask about the opening times, organise the journey there so that the guests get there safely, and I often accompany them also on the tour. The special thing about the church is that it's entirely built out of wood. The economic structure in this area are the granite quarries. Occasionally, loud thunderclaps are to be heard. First, I didn't know what it was. But I later found out that it was due to the blasting for the stone. There are also disused quarries, some of which are full of water. One of these disused quarries with water is one of my favorite places to be. We're often here in evenings, swim, meet with friends, things like that. A very special friend of mine is Miro. First we were 3 volunteers. Then I was alone, but he was always there. He's living in the small village close to where I work. We play cards together. Through this, I'm learning a lot of slang, which the young people speak. So what was missing from my language, I learned in the kitchen. Speaking with him helps to fill the gaps. My name is Livia. I'm 20, and I'm doing a social voluntary year in Russia, in Yaroslavl. In this place, I'm living with my flatmate, Natasha. She's Russian, and I guess she's about 24 years old. She's become a good friend, and we're sharing this one-room flat. We sleep in the same room. First, it was a bit hard. I thought it could get a bit critical, but basically now it's fine. Here in Yaroslavl, I'm working in a children's home, where there are about 90 children. About 80% of the children still have their parents, but the parents can't look after them because of various problems, for example, alcoholism, or they don't have any money and live on the streets. I've found it's very important to live with them, hang out with them, or just watch TV, play with them, listen to music, make music, listen to their stories, and give them tips, for example, about their first love. And I've noticed it's good for them that the door is always open to them, that they can come to me every time, that someone's there, and to give body contact. We can't substitute the parents, but what the kids really need is someone to talk to who's closer to them than the teachers or carers. So I think it's worked. At the moment, I'm more a friend to them than a teacher. To that, I'm closer to them. They let me in their world. They show me their pictures of their families and also tell me why they're here. Naturally, not all of them, but a good few. I often help the teachers with their classes because they've seen that the children are more easygoing when I'm around and they seem to have more fun. So I'm often playing violin when the head teacher's there because it helps when someone else is also playing an instrument, or occasionally I sit with the choir and sing with them because they're more relaxed when I'm there and also, strangely enough, listen to me more than some of the teachers. The winter in Russia lasts really long. Therefore, we spend a lot of our time inside with drinking tea, snuggling in bed, things like that. But the Russians find a lot of funny ways to pass the long winter, sliding on everything. Every path is frozen. And there are a lot of ice sculptures around here. And of course, lots of snowball fights and ice skating are on the menu too. The Donya in Yaroslavl, Riana Veroslovna, is a very old lady, about 85. She's a famous artist, also well known outside the borders of Yaroslavl, throughout the country. And she used to squat in a house, which she now owns. She has many paintings, not all from herself, also from other artists. And down in the cellar, she even lets a punk rock band practice. With her age, she has a very, very young soul. I asked her about the punk rock band and contacted them, and they asked me if I wanted to play violin for them occasionally. That's why I'm in her house a lot, when the band practice or just to be with her. The organization supports me with shelter and the language. They're also responsible for the LIFT project. It's a project where they're trying to bring arts and culture to Yaroslavl. They have an office in which I'm very happy to be in. It's not a typical office, more than a nice atmosphere with nice music, and we often sit in the kitchen, drinking tea and talking about this and that in English, Russian, and German. There are many things which make Russia attractive for me, even though I haven't seen that much apart from St. Petersburg, Moscow, Yaroslavl, and the surrounding villages. Hi, my name's Johanna, and I'm from Fürstenwalde. I'm 21. I've been for 1.5 months here in the Ukraine. Basically, I wanted to go to South Europe, but it didn't work. So I got the call from Yusuf, and they presented the Ukraine project to me. At first, I wasn't really enthused with the idea of the project in the Ukraine, but then, after investigating, it sounded like a good idea to me. Before I decided to go to the Ukraine, I met the pupils of Euro Club, the German teacher Ludmila and the English teacher in the FEZ in Berlin. After this meeting, I decided to take the plunge. My first day, we went straight to the director, who greeted me warmly and said he's very happy about my being here in the Ukraine. As he greeted me, he didn't only shake my hand, he also kissed me on the cheeks. This was strange to me, as such closeness on the first meeting is unusual. I'm working in the Euro Club, and the club integrated in the school. We use our free time after the school to help people with homework, especially with the German. The Euro Club members, especially the English teacher Natalia and the German teacher Ludmila, were very glad to have me there, and they showed me the Euro Club. Ludmila took me out on a nature walk, mainly to let me get to know the pupils. The children were over-curious to see me. In the free time, we mostly go around Dolina and have a coffee, go to the cinema, or just talk to each other. Normally, when I want to go to the library, I have to get out early to walk to the next village to take a taxi to Dolina. Right now, we're here in the library, in our internet cafe. I like being here, keep in contact with the world outside and my friends. At the moment, we have winter here. Mountains are full of snow everywhere. It's great. I'm living in a village about 10 kilometers away from Dolina, in a guest family that also surprisingly speak German. The guest mother and the guest daughter both speak quite good German, which at the beginning was very helpful. But now I want to get away from this comfortable island of German and start to learn the Ukrainian language. I walk from Mison to Verora and then take a taxi or a bus to get to the center of Dolina and then walk to school. With the poverty in the area, I get easily touched. And of course, when I see poor begging kids, it breaks my heart sometimes. The big difference between rich and poor is magnificent. One side, the pureness of the farming people with their old traditions. And on the other side, life in the city with its many homeless people and its poverty. Even through these obvious problems, the people are very helpful and warm-hearted. And this is the main thing I've become treasure in this country.